Hello, this is Nicholas Benton, the author of the book Extraordinary Hearts, Reclaiming Gay Sensibility's Central Role in the Progress of Civilization. This book, which I wrote, actually is a compilation of 100 essays that appeared weekly in Washington, D.C. in the Metro Weekly, gay community newspaper between 2010 and 2012. And they're assembled in this book. This book is the basis for the major themes of the LGBT Identity Project that is now underway, and you can check that out for yourself. It's basically an accumulation of articles of interest, interviews, and so on and so forth that touch on the issue of LGBT identity. And you can find it on Facebook. Just get on Facebook and type in LGBT Identity Project as a single word, and our page will come up. This is a fascinating subject. As I said, I've devoted an awful lot of effort and research into it, writing these columns over a 2-year period, and there's more to come. I'm still working on it. I'm pretty much what you would call a pioneer of the modern gay movement. My involvement was in the San Francisco Bay Area prior to Stonewall, actually, and I was at that time a fresh graduate school graduate, and got involved in the movement as it exploded back then, and very much took off on the teachings and preachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who provided the context for a lot of what happened back in those days prior to his being assassinated in 1968. There's a long gay movement that goes back through most of the 20th century, post-World War I period. A lot of it was very small back in the late 1940s. Actually, after World War II was when Harry Hay actually gets credit for actually founding the first organizations of gays and lesbians that was aimed at achieving equality, overcoming the brutal conditions of the closet, and so on and so forth. That was in 1948, 1949, and he actually drafted a manifesto, a founding document for what became known as the Mattachine Society back then. And that was right in the teeth of the McCarthyite period that had hit America shortly after the end of World War II and led to the McCarthy hearings and a lot of blacklisting of Hollywood writers and actors and so on and so forth. A really anti-communist kind of period of great repression in this country. His efforts stood in the face of that, and it's a long and colorful history. The biggest gains coming eventually, though, in the late 1960s, went in the wake of the anti-war movement and the civil rights movement of that era. The teachings of Dr. King and others, the modern gay movement as we know it, it's normally identified with the Stonewall riots as their basis of their beginning in the summer of 1969. We come away with our modern gay movement. Now, the issues, as I've raised them in this book and others have raised as well, has to going to the question of identity. Well, what does it mean to be gay, if to put it simply, or LGBT, LGBTQ, or whatever? Is it simply nothing other than sexual taste, something like that, or is there more to the personality, the spirit of the gay person, the LGBT person that animates and identifies who they are, and something that often gets lost? We have a dominant gay culture today that is not that different than it was back at the time of Stonewall in terms of the kind of institutions that young gay people coming out in the world tend to gravitate towards. Not enough attention is paid to the full parameters of their personality and their contributions, the potential contributions to the world. So these are the kind of issues that we want to address with this project, and I think there's a heck of a lot to be said. So this is just an opening introduction in that process. I'm going to kind of much leave it at that for now, And we'll get into the series on a very regular basis and start going through the contents of some of this book and welcoming your thoughts and ideas to be posted on our page through Facebook or otherwise sent on to us. So for that, this is Nicholas Benton. I'm the author of Extraordinary Hearts, and look forward to following this with many more. Thank you.